SandhyaGupta has been experimenting with ways to shift the focus of education from teaching to learning, especially with young learners. She's deeply involved in creating spaces and setting up environments which encourage learning as opposed to teaching. Together with her husband, she is realizing the dream of a learning center, which is a space for curious and creative minds to experiment and explore the world around them. They have also been working with local schools to establish one-room libraries to encourage reading and learning in, you want to help me with that, just so I do it correctly? How do you say that? Okay. What she just said. Her latest project is in Avishkaar, the Center for Learning with focus in making science and math fun, easy, and accessible to students in her community. Her presentation will focus on learning in this field. Sandhya, with her husband, Sarit Sarma, currently leads Avishkaar, a Center for Learning and Livelihood Training. She headed Samhavna, okay, Institute of Public Policy and Politics near Palampur in there you go, before coming to Avishkaar. She also worked as a technologist in semiconductor manufacturing company for several years. She has a PhD in electrical engineering from Iowa State University. Her involvement with the community and desire to serve led her to another master's in public affairs from the Humphrey Institute at the University of Minnesota. As a Rotarian, she and her husband have been involved with issues of clean water, health, and education in marginalized communities. And she spends most of her time in a village near Palampur and loves to cook, birdwatch, and dance with her 11-year-old daughter. Please welcome our very own Sandhya.
Happy Monday. I'm so happy to be back. So happy to see all the faces. You're from Iowa, right? So I did my PhD in Iowa State University. When I came to Minnesota, cyclones, yes. So when I came to Minneapolis and went for my driver's license, he looked at me and he said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Iowa." He asked me, "How did they let you in?" So today I'm going to talk about a new initiative that we have started in Palampur. It's called Aavishkaar. Aavishkaar means invention. So far, the work that I had been doing in Palampur was with the Policy Institute. It is established now. We had started a learning center, but me and my husband both are technologists at heart. So, because we had worked with school systems for last 5 years, in our learning we had seen that education for Indian families is a duty. It is not fun. So the way the kids are learning is mostly by memorizing, but they don't really get the concepts. Education is quite wasteful. I can't really call it education. Both of us were very disappointed and we wanted to see what is it that we could do. With that intent, we had started the Learning Center, but our strength is science and math. So far we were supporting things, but we thought that let's do something that is what we are. So maybe this way we can make science, those who can pay for education can get better education. But our underserved communities are not able to do that, and then science which is in our everyday life is not happening. So with that intent, we have started Avishkaar. We have been working on this for last few years, but it has finally taken shape only a few months ago. So I will show you what I have done. But before that, what we as Rotarians have been able to do, I'll just quickly walk through that. So Nari Gunjan, the very first project we supported, and we have been supporting it for many years. Now we do a separate Nari Gunjan fundraisers. Very quickly, this past year, a girl from Nari Gunjan was invited to speak at United Nations. It was a big deal at Nari Gunjan and for all of us. Our karate team, we have been training kids in karate for a long time now. 11 girls went to Armenia and they won 18 medals in different categories. And the girls, I have stopped counting. They have won so many championships in athletics. And just wanted to remind you, in the last district grant, we gave them $10,300 or $500 to buy a sports equipment and athletics. So we bought javelin and shot put, and they actually won in all categories. It has been just amazing. You know, these are, we can call them sports, but for our girls, it is basically being able to stand up on their own and work as a team. So there are many things that happens because of sports for our girls. So this has been wonderful. And this time we are really hoping a lot from the state government, because for the first time in Bihar, the chief minister, head of the state, Jitan Ram Manjhi, he's actually a Musahar. Musahar is the community that our girls come from. I want to remind you again, Musahar means the rat killers. So this is the community actually who kills rats and eats them. So this guy has been as a social activist, has been working for a long time. And because our founder, Sudha Varghese, is also on the Minority Commission's team. So she has been working with him because we want to start another hostel. We have 2 hostels, we want to start the 3rd one. And we are hoping, because he's there, we might be able to get some land from the government so that we can start a 3rd one. So this program has been really doing very well. Okay, and now to Himachal Pradesh. Last year we gave an ambulance. So just want to tell you what all it has done. It has done 400 trips so far, taking people from remote areas to hospitals where they can get aid. It has already done 45,000 miles. We have done 3 blood donation camps because we had also given a blood storage unit and a blood donation chair, so we were able to do those camps. We had given a bus to the orphanage, and that is being used on an everyday basis. Our learning center that we had started a few years ago, it has recently moved to a new location at Aavishkaar now. And the library project, some of the libraries have become operational, and some of them now, because of this new science program, we are making contacts, and they have given us room. We have ordered stuff, and we would be putting it together. Laparoscopy was last year. So the order has been placed, and hopefully we will be getting it soon. So Aavishkaar. This is the new initiative that we have started. Many of you, probably those who went for the Friendship Rotary Exchange trip, have visited this site. This was, a part of it was an industrial training institute, that the Center for Livelihood, where we already do computer training and tailoring and embroidery training. So this starts for students when they pass their 10th grade. And there was a space that was already available there, but it was kind of in disuse. So we took over that space, renovated it, and that's where we have started the Avishkaar campus. The aim of this space is basically to make science and maths accessible to all. Right now, it's not. It's not because in our education system, the teachers who are paid by the government are not accountable, so they are really not teaching. So there was one way for us to fight that battle for accountability, but by the time the kids would grow up, so we decided that we would rather make it accessible ourselves, make it experiential so that you can feel science, not just memorize the definitions, and make it relevant so that it's interesting for us and the kids want to use it. Again, nurture and curiosity and creativity, which is unfortunately lacking in the Indian community, lacking in a big way. I mean, you can't even tell if you work with a kid of that age in India versus here, there's a huge gap. Because you won't be able to see that because you see the best and the brightest Indians. You don't see them all. And again, to create a team of trainers who understand science in an experiential way so that it's not just us doing it, there are many of us doing it together. So with that intent, we have started this. So how do we do this? Our first aim is through our library projects. We have been entering the schools, and engaging them in reading and writing. Now we are engaging them further through science by doing science fairs. And these are not your regular science fairs where a student makes something up. We have taken a few concepts, and we work mainly with our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. We go to a school which has a population of about 300 to 400. Again, remember, these are mountain communities, so school size is not in thousands. It is 250 to 300 to 500. We go there through our models, and we do science fair there. Then we invite the students over to our campus at Avishkaar, where we do longer day workshops. And those who are not able to come, we take a specific topic and do a full day workshop where we embed the element of mathematics. We embed the element of mathematics. And then one more thing we are doing is engaging with different organizations so that we can train youngsters between the age of 18 to 26, maybe upper one is not a limit, but 18-year-olds, so that they understand these concepts better and they go and engage with the community schools. So how are we doing that? Again, in Science Mela, what we do is, day one we have built models. You know, when we do science models here, you can go buy them from the market. And so they become expensive. For our children, if you give something expensive, then it is not approachable or accessible. Because every time the kid would be worried about breaking it or getting shouted at by the teacher. So there should be a model that is accessible, that is something that when they see it, they should feel that I can build it too. So, and it has to be cheap, it has to be available with the material, can be built with the material locally. We have, so far, we have been doing it since February, these science fairs. We have been able to reach about 1,000 students and about 200 teachers. And the villagers, where we go, villagers also come to see these science fairs. It's a 2-day program. On the first day, we take 60 students from the 6th to 8th grade group, and we let them play with the models. We do not use any science jargons. They play, and they tell us, how does this model work? And then we will give them some tips. And the next day, it's their job to go and organize this fair and explain it to the whole community. So they have to do it hundreds of times. The teachers feel that, oh, wow, what we have, I have gotten different comments. One teacher sat through the whole thing, and he said, what I have not been able to do in 1 year, you have done it in 1 day. Some students would say, oh, you take only till 8th grade. I'm in 8th grade now. Next year, you won't teach me. But the thing is, we don't really teach them. They teach themselves. So some of the concepts I'm listing here: simple machines, laws of motion, light, sound, magnetism, solar system, center of gravity, vision, perception, human body. But all these models have to be very simple. So what are the goals of the science fair? Again, engaging the students, explaining it in language in which they can understand, which is becoming very difficult. If you have little bit of money, then you want to send your child to an English medium school, you speak Hindi at home, the child doesn't know English, doesn't know Hindi. So it doesn't work. If you go at the village level, the words are so difficult that, they just don't get it. In our models, we are saying, you just go explain in the way you can. You don't need to know those words, because the science terminology is a terminology to make associations. If you don't know the terminology but understand the concept, you are already understood it. So that is how we are doing it. Again, as I said, touch and feel the model and realize it. Because they explain it. This is the first time in their life that they are standing up and explaining, and somebody older to them is listening to them, which is a big deal, which does not happen. There you really have to follow what your teacher says and respect the teacher. Don't question. And here, it just totally flips it. Because they are the eldest and the youngest in the group, they are explaining it to 9th grader, 10th grader, 11th grader, 12th grader, parent, grandparent, teachers, principals. Suddenly the kid feels that, wow, I can talk. And teachers say, wow, this girl was always quiet in the class. I had never heard her speak. And today she's explaining. And again, science is fun, and there's no need to fear it. So this is again one of the workshops where we have just introducing. You can see the condition of the rooms would never be good, but we make do with what we have. And here are the students all listening to us. We are just about to start the first day of the workshop. This is actually a workshop in progress where some of the community people have come to see it. Actually, TV people also came. So we got TV coverage also. So this was our very first fair that we did. The girl you saw, she was holding a tube. This was basically showing vision and perception, that from each eye, an image is made, and in the brain, it puts the two images together. So what happens in this one, I'm going to just give it away. If you put a tube on one side, and you're looking through the world, and you put your hand in front next to the tube, it will look like that you have a hole in your hand. So, but it basically shows you how two eyes look separate in different ways. So very, very simple models, but they should be able to explain it. Okay, this is again one of the girls explaining the model of a pulley and how it works. So whenever we do these, teachers are very excited. They want to come and actually see how we were able to do each of these concepts. So here are some of the three of the teachers are with the students. So this is a different school. It's a school in again another mountain community. So these were the 60 kids that we had trained at the school. You see teachers in the background and the students. So these are the 60 kids we trained, and they went and explained it to 250 kids. In this particular, this is another community in Kyori, another village, where a lot of villagers came to see the show. This was another school where what happened was, this was a middle school. It had a smaller population. First time we were trying in a smaller group. It was about 100 students. But neighboring school heard, which was a senior secondary school of 500 students, the principal immediately came. And he wanted to see, so this is the principal of that school. He wanted to see what we are doing, and he invited us to his school. So once we go back from here, we will be going to his school. Yet another school. Teachers also get excited when villagers come, and they also want to explain, because they would have mostly sat through our program. Here we are just preparing the kids, because on the day of exhibition, everybody is really nervous in the beginning, because this would be the first time they would be doing it, so they will have a lot of questions. When this was, one of the district education officers had heard about the program, so when he found out that we are in a village near him, he came to see the program. Yet another school. This is a private school. But here, it's run on a charitable basis. So we decided that we will go there. It's not that we differentiate between a private school and a public school, but we rather put our energy in a public school where underserved communities come. Your public, it's very different from here. Those who can't afford a private school send their kids to government schools. So generally, laborers, landless laborers, unskilled laborers, their kids would be there in these schools. And so that's why we generally try to go there. Okay, then as I said, once we explain these, we do these workshops, some kids get really interested and they want to learn more. So then we open it up, we invite them to our campus. If you want to understand a particular concept in great detail, so they come to our campus. Here we do a fee-based workshop. Fees are nominal, very nominal, less than $1. And again, pay if you can. If you can't pay, it's still okay. It's an experiment we are doing because we want these programs to become self-sustaining also. And then again, totally experiential. Here, this was a concept of forces that we were talking about. Here we were talking about the power of solar energy and what you can do with a convex lens. So everybody wants to try it. You will see the kids here. Here we were talking about laws of motion, especially the second law of motion, how acceleration gets affected by force and by mass. On each of our trips when we go from US, we keep looking for different science models. We have been looking for them for like last 4 or 5 years because there are some ideas that are very good here that we can easily transport, or they're easy. So this was one of the model solar cars that we had taken on one of our trips here. So this is what the kids are about to try. This one they are trying, you see them rubbing hitting their head on the balloon. That's not the case. Here they are figuring out the concept of electrostatic energy and how by rubbing it in your balloon, rubbing it in your hair, and you can stick it on the wall, or you can change the direction of flow of water. So once they do all that, it becomes more experiential. Here they are trying out the understanding of friction. And what they're doing is interleaving two magazines. And at the end of it, they try to pull it apart. But the frictional force would be so high that they can't do it. So then we have developed another workshop on science of flight. There, because when you have to fly something, you have to work against gravity, you have to lift something up, you have to work against drag, and you have to move it forward. So how to build a model in which you can lift it up, and you can move it forward. So we have built models, and we go with the concepts step by step. Here they're trying a paper helicopter to show how it can be directional. Again, enjoying another Sunday with science. So when you do all this, they come here, but we have to keep the school engaged. So now what we are developing is, we are developing topical workshops. One topic, we have to embed the element of mathematics because we have realized their doing measurements, doing ratios, proportions, doing algebraic equations, all that if we embed in any model, then it will become much easier for them. So that is what we have been doing. Here, we do a topical full-day workshop. They build models, and they take it home. Some of the workshops that we have done so far are science of flight, skeletal systems, solar system, natural exploration. So this is one of the schools that we are in. Most of the schools do not have tables or chairs to sit on. The kids sit on the ground. So we have to develop it in a way that you can work with the space that they have. Here they are trying out the concept of lift and Bernoulli's principle. If you take like a piece of paper and you blow it underneath, you know that the paper will lift up. Now what will happen if you take the piece of paper and blow it on top? You would expect it to go down, but it actually comes up because of the Bernoulli's principle. So, but when you experience it, it becomes more clear. So I will not tell them Bernoulli's principle, but this is an experiment on flight that we have built up. These are paper airplanes with bamboo, thin bamboo rods. We put a little bit of chewing gum on top, whatever heavy weight you need. And these planes, through these planes, they understand the concept of how it will, you can simulate liftoff, you can simulate landing, you can control the direction of these planes. Very simple, affordable models that they can build and take it home. This is our workshop on skeletal systems. We make small play models that kids can take home, but we also build big models that you see in the background here. These are models built of cardboard. Their ratio and proportion should be like a normal human being. They'll make each of these, the bones in our body with the right measurements. And at the end of it, they can take it home. But the thing is, and then their job is to go home and write the name of each of the bone part. So the learning happens. We don't really have to, all our timing, basically we spend on designing each of these workshops. Once it's done right, it becomes very easy. Here we were working on the web of life, how life is dependent on surrounding, how we are dependent on plants, animals, and what happens if we kill one of the animal totally, how would it affect us? So this was basically a web of life. And again, a little bit of play, making different animals, with different pictures with leaves that they collected around. This was, again, working on models in groups. This was an experiential workshop, again, in which they were going to simulate sun, moon, and earth. They were to become to the sun, the moon, or the earth, and see how lunar eclipse happens, basically understanding the solar system. Again, and building a small model to take home. So this is what we do with the students. But as I said, unless we train a lot of people who can do the science experiments, which are affordable. So we did our first workshop with an organization called Pratham. It was a 4-day workshop. We had 40 people who came. We had invited Samar Bagchi, who is the director of science museums in India. It was 4-day discussion, totally talking about only science, low-cost science. Low-cost ways in which you can make our students understand science. Sarit, my husband, was one of the speakers. Samar Bagchi, Samarda, he's like this mad scientist that you think of, but everything has to be very cheap. Very cheap, whatever you could find on campus. So that was the basic thing. So he talked about a lot of, he is 82 years old. He has done a lot of science experiments in his life and has collected a lot of information that he shared with us. And we tried, you can see these were the different people that we were training, and everybody wanted to try each one of these. Again, these are people on our campus, the people that we trained. So this was a big community we hosted in this new campus. It took us 1 month to renovate it. 35 of these participants stayed in this facility. I'm telling you all this because we need money for it. So this is our conference space where we did the workshop. Our dining space. This is something we are very proud of. We built it ourselves. This is from the bamboo that grows a lot in the area. We sat and designed these beds, and this is what we use for the workshop. It took us a while, but now it's tested. A lot of work, building work, this time is remaining. A lot of kitchen renovation is required. Library has to be completed. Our workshop area has to be completed. And unfortunately, the Rotary Matching Grant Program does not support construction. Palampur Rotary, the Palampur Helpage Foundation has stepped in and is helping out a lot. And any one of you who is interested and wants to help out, we would love that. Our learning center program has moved here. We have been doing a lot with music. By the way, how much time do I have? 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. So we think music, we strongly feel that music is an integral part of understanding mathematics. And we are continuing with that. So this is our music room. The instructors, what you see is here is a harmonium, tabla, and we have sitar also. This is all from Rotary matching grant donation. We had started a learning center. This is from that. Our kids have been performing. They have been, now they get invited in the area to do performances. And we have kind of created, you see them playing an Indian drum. This is basically, I can easily say that in India, this is a very gender biased. This instrument is generally played by boys or men. Here we have been able to train, now we have like five girls. I mean, everybody gets trained, but now we have 5 girls who actually play tabla very well. And these 2 were invited to play in a big performance, so they did that. We are, science is a way to get to homes because science is valued a lot, but without arts, science would be, life would be incomplete. We need our theater, we need our music, we need our dance, we need it all. So we try to embed the elements here. We had recently called a storyteller to tell the story of science. So she came and talked to the students. This gentleman is a choreographer. He has choreographed very big events in India. Bhumika Dance Theatre Director. He was invited. And all these people are very nice enough to volunteer their time to us. So he is taking a class on rhythms. So this is Aavishkaar, the hostel. As you can see, the lower part is there, the upper part still needs to be completed. It's beautiful. It's in the Dhauladhar Valley. So you can see the Dhauladhar mountains in the background. Entrance of Avishkaar. So this was all about Avishkaar, but without ending it with Nari Gunjan, it would be incomplete. So these are the girls who went to UN, talking about Dalit girls. Our fundraiser is on 15th of July in Indian Jaika restaurant in Egan. Would love for you to come. So if you could make your reservations before July 10th, that would be great. Thank you.
Wondering if you could share a little bit about your TEDx talk or your experience there, and I wonder if we can get that on our website.
Oh yeah, so last year and the year before, both years I did TEDx. I was invited to TEDx events. Both of them are available online. Last year's event, I actually talked about shifting the focus from teaching to learning, which in India we need it all over. Here we are making good progress, there we are not even thinking about it. So yes, both the talks are available on YouTube. I can send out a link and we can put it online. Yes, definitely, yes.
Sandhya, you really should explain more about that visit to the UN. I mean, I think there were only 10 girls from around the world that were selected, so I mean, that was really a huge thing for one of them.
Yeah. So this is a Dalit community. I wonder how, you people probably don't follow. Recently in India, I wanted to put that picture up, but I myself have difficulty looking at it. 2 girls in Uttar Pradesh, 2 Dalit girls in Uttar Pradesh were raped by a group of people and were hanged. Were hanged and their picture taken. So the right to equality that is available to quite a few of us is not available to them. This is why, to stress this, the Dalit girls were called. One representation from Dalit community was called to come to UN and talk about the right to equality. And that is why one of our girls had gone. She was selected, and she had gone to give a talk. You know, I have not really talked. This year, the Indian election scene was quite interesting. A new party came, Aam Aadmi Party. So I took that excuse to actually go and campaign. Us as a family spent 3 months on the streets of Delhi to campaign. It does not matter which party you support, but if you walk through the streets of, I went to many slums. I saw the horrific state in the capital city. It was quite disheartening. I wish we could change. Hopefully it will change. It will just take a very long time. But what I saw, I'm amazed that people can live like that. I'm just amazed that people can live like that. You know, if you live in a village, there might not be amenities, but you have space. But if you live in a slum in a big city, you don't even have space. And just every kind of sewage on the road, it's just very disheartening. I learned a lot. I really learned a lot in those 3 months. Saw every kind of corruption, and I saw a lot of hope, lot of people like me walking the streets, which was just amazing. It was just amazing to see that it did not matter what kind of educational background you had. You just wanted to be on the street to support a party that you strongly believed in to create that change. So it was just amazing.
Well, I think it's worth commenting more for those of us that were there a year ago to see these girls at the Narjan in school. What most people don't realize is that the tendency is for them not to go to school, to drop out early. And so Narjan is a boarding school. They stay there. And many times after the girls have been there for 6 months or a year, they'll go back home and the parents don't even recognize them because they have their whole attitude, they've cleaned up, they've got better clothes, they've learned. And for these girls that probably have never been more than 10 miles from their village to go to Japan on this karate, or for one to go to the UN, it gives them a model for the rest of their lives. So I mean, it's absolutely incredible what you've done. And I don't think that any of us that were there will ever forget the welcome those girls gave us. And I know all, my wife and Don's wife, Leslie, and you couldn't get over, the girls just clung to them. So it was just really something to see, and the work that's being done is incredible.
You know, I probably say it every time, I'll say it this time also. There, in those young eyes, there is a dream. And as the kids get older, that dream starts to die. What happens, I will tell you what happened. So my daughter I have an 11-year-old daughter. So I was talking to her about gender bias, how it exists in our village community. It exists everywhere to lesser extent or more. So I said, as the girls get older, they stop believing that they can do whatever they want to do. So just a few months ago, you see that girl that I showed that was playing tabla next to the two of the girls. One of them is my daughter, the other one is this kid. So 6 months ago, my daughter came to me and she said, you know, Ma, I can notice that this girl, her dream is, she does not believe anymore that she can do whatever she wants to do. I said, how did you know that? She said, I asked her to play something, or no, to play something that she said, no, I can't play that anymore. And then she asked her, what is it that you want to become? So this girl is 13 years old. What is it that you want to become? So she said, no, I just have to get married to somebody and I have to do housework. I cannot become whatever I want to become. So then she came, my daughter asked me, how is it that I can change that? Because her brother Abhishek still believes that he can do whatever he wants to do. She cannot. What is it I can? I mean, I did not have a good answer. All I could say was, it's a good thing that she is able to realize the problem. Because many of us go through life, we don't even know what the problem is. She is able to articulate and say that I am not able to do whatever I want to do. So now we can actually work on this problem and do something about it. She has not, and she is unhappy about it. Hopefully there would be a change. I don't know what will happen with this girl. So that is why we became very adamant that she has to keep learning tabla. Because this was the first time in her life. That was just a picture for you. But for the first time in her life, she was standing on she was sitting on that stage with 300, 400 people watching, and she was playing tabla. Her grandparents, who can hardly see, they could not believe that her mother is an unskilled labor, that she can actually come and perform. So we took her grandparents, because mother was still on duty. We took grandparents with us, made them sit in the front row with the chief guest, so that they can realize that it is possible. It is possible. I hope we have given this girl a dream, and hopefully one day she would try her best to achieve it. That's the minimum we can do. So we are just a conduit. There are kids there with dreams, and here you are with resources. I feel my job is to connect the two of you. And if I do my job well, then all of us benefit from it. So I hope you'll keep supporting the projects. Thank you.